Famous Guitars, episode 19. And before I get started for this holiday, I want to truly thank you folks for the over 4,000 subscribers. And also I want to respond to this comment floating above my head somewhere up here and feature this guitar right here. And of course, we're talking about this one legendary guitar that had three legendary owners, the Greeny Les Paul. So let's first talk about Peter Green. The man who replaced Eric Clapton and John Mayall in the Blues Breakers, Green went on to found the original blues-based incarnation of Fleetwood Mac. The 59 Les Paul was bought by Green during his Blues Breakers days, reportedly costing him the equivalent of about $300 second-hand in 1966. There were plenty of other 59s around in those days, but Greeny sounded unlike any of them. Why is that? Because one of the pickups is fitted in the wrong way around. What this means is that when both pickups are played in the middle position, the instrument sounds more like a Fender Stratocaster than a Gibson Les Paul or out of phase. There's been much speculation as to why Greeny's Les Paul ended up that way, modifications and so forth, but the pickup was just installed the wrong way at the factory, which was confirmed by legendary guitar tech Joel Dancing, I believe is how you pronounce the last name, when he examined the guitar back in 1984. So anyone familiar with the early Fleetwood Mac probably knows the sad story of Peter Green's mental health struggles throughout the 70s. By the turn of the decade, Green had started to completely unravel, losing interest in music altogether. It was around this time that he loaned the guitar to a then unknown teen guitar wonder kid he befriended by the name of Gary Moore. Moore was eventually prompted by Green to purchase the instrument. Peter wanted to make sure that it would have a good home, so he sold it for the same $300 that Green had initially paid for it. The Les Paul soon became Gary Moore's signature instrument, as it had been Green's. He played it on his 1973 solo debut, through his stints with Thin Lizzy, and on his signature solo song. He even used the guitar on a tribute to its former owner, the Peter Green covers album Blues for Greeny in 1995. In 2006, money problems forced the guitars to sell it for somewhere between $750,000 and $1.2 million, a considerable chunk more than what he paid for it back in 1970. After being purchased by Phil Winfield at Maverick Guitars, the instrument floated around on private collector's market for a number of years. And it looks like that's where it was going to stay until about 2014, when it was announced that Metallica's Kirk Hammett had come in possession of the guitar. Hammett reportedly paid somewhere in the region of $2 million for it. Hammett recalls, "It'd been on the market for a few years, but the price was just way too high. And then I kind of waltzed into a situation where the owner of the guitar needed money. And of course, I totally took advantage of the situation, worked out a deal and bought it. All within an hour's time, because I was so friggin' blown away by the fact that I was holding a guitar that Peter Green played in Fleetwood Mac and then Gary Moore played for like 25 years after." So there it is, another fascinating story about a really fascinating guitar that had been through three really prestigious guitar players, the Greeny Les Paul. Like, share, and follow for more famous guitars.